If you think getting caught without a train ticket only means paying a small fine or entering a female reserve berth wouldn't have any implications, think again. From July 2026, Indian Railways have revised penalties for several offences. This includes ticketless travel, entering women's coaches, misusing railway facilities, or even travelling on train roofs or footboards. So what does it mean for you? Let's break it down. Let's start by understanding what exactly is the Jan Vishwas Amendment of the Provisions Bill 2026. This is an initiative by the central government to make laws more citizen-friendly by reducing criminal punishment for minor procedural violations. Instead of treating small compliance lapses as criminal offences, the bill replaces many of them with civil penalties, warnings, or administrative action. It also introduces proportionate penalties, faster dispute resolution through educating officers, and a system of periodic penalty revisions. Overall, the bill aims to encourage compliance rather than punishment, while improving both the ease of living for citizens and the ease of doing business. For Indian Railways, the Act brings amendments to the provision of Railways Act 1989 and the Calcutta Metro Railway Operations and Maintenance Temporary Provision Act 1985. The Railway Board has officially notified that these provisions are now being enforced. So what changes for passengers exactly? First, in case of travelling without valid ticket or pass. Earlier, this involved a criminal punishment. Now passengers must pay an applicable fare plus excess charges with a minimum recovery of Rs 500 or such amount as notified by the central government. The offence has largely shifted to recovery and penalty mechanism. Second, on entering coaches or berths reserved for women without right permissions. If a man is found entering or staying in an accommodation reserved for women, can face up to 2,500 rupees in penalty and removal by the railway staff. If the penalty is not paid, the matter can go to court, where a fine of up to Rs 5,000 may be imposed. The provision also states that transgender persons are exempt from proceedings under this section. Third, travelling on train roofs, doorsteps or engines. Earlier, the fine was up to Rs 500 and now has been replaced by a civil penalty of to Rs 2000. If the penalty is not paid, the person may be produced before a court which can impose a fine of up to Rs 2000. And finally, fourth, misusing the railway accommodation or facilities. The existing fine of up to Rs 150 has now been replaced with a penalty of up to Rs 2000. Court proceedings will generally happen only if the penalty is not paid. So, if you are travelling by train, these are the new rules you should know. The revised provisions under the Jan Vishwas Amendment of the Provisions Act 2026 are now a part of Railway Act's enforcement framework, making several penalties higher while shifting some offences away from the criminal prosecution towards a penalty and recovery system. A missing ticket, the wrong coach, or misuse of railway facilities. What may once have meant a small fine could now become a much steeper penalty. Stay informed because your next train journey will now follow a new rule book.